You're listening to the Millennial Minute Podcast, giving this generation what they want to hear.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Millennial Minute Podcast. We appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate y'all support. So let's go around and see who we got with us today. We got our boy all the way out in AZ. Shout outs to Alif. Say what's up to the people. There you go. We got our boy all the way out in DC, Chibuzo. What is up? How you?
It's me and that big beard business.
Okay.
Big beard business.
Big beard business. Triple B's. No more Big Baller Brand. Big beard business. And we got our boy in Cali with the Dragon Ball Z do-rag, the black and gold trim, looking like Cobra Kai. Say what's up, Speaks.
We good. These are Laker colors. All right. R.I.P. Mamba.
R.I.P. Mamba. R.I.P. Mamba. And by the way, Lakers in 5. That's what we're about to say starting this podcast off. By the time this comes out, it may be the first game of the finals. So we'll see what happens there. But go Lakers. If you're a Clippers fan, immediately turn off this podcast because we're about to slander them.
Immediately hit the Patreon and title it "Sorry for Talking."
Yes. Exactly. We should receive some compensation just as
large monetary apology is what we expect from all Clipper fans.
That's what we need immediately. But some people we won't slander are our friends at Productive Culture. If you're looking for production, mixing, sound design, or just looking to start your own podcast, you need to hit up Productive Culture like yesterday. They've hooked us up and they've helped us take our podcast to a completely new level, and they can do the same for you. So y'all need to hit up Productive Culture at productiveculture.com/podcast. You can also find them on Instagram at Productive Culture. So stop waiting around, y'all. Hit them up. Tell them that the Millennial Minute sent you, and you're gonna get hooked up, man. We got the connects.
All on a new level.
We also got a new /old sponsor by the name of 3-Bit Games. Shout out to 3-Bit Games. For those of you who are into video games, comic books, 3-Bit Games is a spot you need to hit up. They will buy, they'll sell, and they'll trade all games, consoles, Funko Pops, figures, trading cards. So it's a one-stop shop for all of you gamers and collectors. You love to see it. You can find them at 1600 East Holt Avenue, Space K24 in Pomona, California, for all of the IE San Gabriel Valley homies. And you can find them on Instagram if you are international or if you are in another state, on Instagram at 3-Bit Games.
Yeah.
So
support Black-owned businesses, support essential businesses.
Yes. And I love that. Chibs just said that, because we are going to go into a very juicy topic. You guys have discussed this kind of in some previous pods, going back and forth, taking little jabs at T, who is not here, but she wasn't even mentioned because this is another toxic pod.
Toxic.
Toxic.
We'll call the segment Testosterone Time.
There you go. Tea time.
Is the T team back?
Yes, the T team is back. The T team is back, and instead of tea time, it's testosterone time.
Exactly.
So today we're going to be discussing what businesses should be considered essential.
All
right. So that's going to be the question for the minute. I am going to do my best T impression starting now. Okay, guys. So we're going to have 1 minute to discuss the question. Okay. We'll start with Alif. We'll go with Speaks, and then we'll go with Chibs. That was a perfect voice. T, perfect. I am you now. I will catfish these dudes for money.
Talk about your chakras.
About my what?
Your chakras. Talk about your chakras.
Oh my god. Anyways, so Alif, we're gonna start off with you. All right. What businesses should be considered essential, and go?
I mean, groceries. And like stores like CVS and Walgreens. Mm-hmm. Those are things that come to mind. Some restaurants, I guess, for takeout only.
Okay. Speaks.
Yeah. He said a hospital.
Grocery stores. Mail.
A hospital's not a business.
Mail. I'm just saying, when we're talking about essential workers, hospitals
30 seconds.
and grocery stores, yeah, I think that's basically it. And maybe some type of transportation service.
Okay, Chibs, you got 18 seconds.
Yep. Anything that's going to keep you safe and healthy and functioning.
Yes.
Okay, I kind of agree with that, and I would also say restaurants, but takeout only. We should not be eating by each other, people. That makes no sense. 3, 2, 1, Chibs. Right, right at the buzzer.
It's Gucci.
It's cool.
It's like we have the
All right,
Migos
so
on the pod.
right at the buzzer.
Like 80 did to the
Wait,
to the
what?
Nuggets.
To the Nuggets with some sweet and sour sauce. Okay, but anyways, before we go off on some Laker tangents, businesses, essential businesses. A lot of people have said all businesses should be considered essential. All people are essential to the economy. Some we like to prioritize higher than others. So, Alif, you started off with the list, kind of giving your list of what should be open, what shouldn't be open. What are some industries that you don't deem essential? And by essential, just so we're all on the same page, we're talking about businesses where a mass gathering of people should not be at. All right, just for the listeners, we're not talking about like businesses we feel like shouldn't exist during COVID, just where people shouldn't gather. Okay, Chibs, speak. You want to jump in?
Like festivals and like concerts and stuff like that.
That's an industry.
But yeah, but then like here's a caveat, right? Like at what point, at how long should like businesses that are not considered quote unquote essential stay closed for?
Well, okay.
Because
we don't want to get too deep into that because then we'll go into that once we deem the type of businesses. So you said one would be festivals, concerts, speaks, or Chibs. Do you guys want to add to that?
I was going to say like I said in the minute, if it has to keep you like safe and healthy and functioning. So obviously, like you have to be safe. So you got to think of like all the civil services. You can't take away firefighters. You can't take away hospital workers. No, those are people that are keeping you safe.
What about gyms? Gyms keep you safe. Gyms keep you. They keep you safe. They keep you healthy.
Will keep you functioning, and
they keep you functioning and they keep you healthy. What about the gym, Chibs?
Is the gym that's
falling under that?
What about recreational services?
Nope.
Because
why not? Why not? Because I'm going by Chibs' criteria right now. He said keep you safe, keep you functioning, and keep you healthy. The gym does all three.
Recreation does not mean essential.
I'm talking about Chibuzo. Speaks.
Okay.
It keeps you safe, it keeps you functioning, it keeps you healthy. The gym falls under those three categories. Why should the gym not be considered an essential business?
In the games, it's the only thing you need.
In the games.
Games only, brah.
Yeah.
Well,
the only question you need is the swole.
Yeah.
Well, I think obviously in a gym you are gathering in a small. You're getting a lot of people in a small vicinity. No matter how big the gym is, it is still considered small. People are sweating. People are breathing. People are not wiping down their equipment, even pre-COVID. So you expect people to wipe stuff down with sanitizer and stuff. During COVID, absolutely not.
Actually,
okay, Alif.
Actually, so the gyms out here are open. And I mean, my experience, like the people who work at the gym, they will call you out if you don't wipe your equipment, and they annotate that shit.
Okay, well,
so at least what I'm hearing is that you have coronavirus.
No. So
at least I haven't been feeling well for 2 or more weeks, guys. I have a fever. I don't know what's happening.
No,
all I know is that the games are at the maximum.
So the gyms out here, for example, they require you to reserve a slot. They open up the sign up window, I think 24 hours in advance, and they have a limitation like only 25 people in the gym or 50 people in the gym can be in at between these times. And that's how they make you wear a mask. They have every other piece of equipment disabled. Like they remove the chain or something like that, or they turn it off. And they want you to like wipe down your equipment.
They want you to wipe down your equipment.
Okay.
Is there
Yeah,
somebody
because
that is there somebody that is actively going in there and making sure that, hey,
yes, yes.
they are all,
Yes.
hey, you used it, wipe it down?
The manager will tell you to wipe it down.
Are you sure? Can you account for that? Have you been at this business
Yes,
for 20?
yes,
Have you been at this business 24 hours to confirm that every single time somebody is there to not wipe down equipment?
shit. I mean, it's happened to me.
That's
It's
So you're
happened to me the
saying
one
that
time.
you're saying that you put more people at risk because you don't wipe down your equipment. That's what you're telling
sorry?
America.
What did you say, sir?
Wait. Oh, sorry, I cut off. I said you're basically telling America that you don't wipe down your equipment.
No,
That's what you're
it's
telling
like,
us right now.
I've seen it happen before.
So
Well,
you've
in any
seen it
case,
happen.
Well, Chips, because we're gonna go in an infinite loop right now.
Yeah.
So I guess
Well,
the
I
point I'm
mean,
trying.
Well, hold
I'm
on.
trying to
Let
make-
Chips. Oh, Alif, make your
Alright.
point, and then we'll go to Chips. Alif, make your point first.
All right. The point I'm trying to make is that, like, since COVID and like being when earlier in the COVID crisis, when people were in mandatory quarantine, right? You've seen a spike of mental health and domestic abuses in the homes go up, right?
Yep.
And
That's
I think
facts.
that's largely due to like people being cooped up in their homes for months at a time.
Mhm.
And I do think, to a certain extent, not every recreational service, but some recreational services should be open just to alleviate, just to help with mental health, because mental health is a real issue.
Mm-hmm. Speak. Well, Chips, I know you had a point.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, Chips. And then
I guess I was just trying to swing away from this little tangent-ish, but it seems like we're back on track. But I will say, actually, I saw Speak raise his hand like a good little boy. So go ahead, Speaks.
I was going to say, so you're saying that working out is people's way of alleviating that stress and that mental health and getting everything correct, right?
Hey, look, I'm not advocating.
Well, yes or no?
some
Yes or
way
no?
of-
Just yes or no? Yes or no? Let's keep it short.
Yeah,
Yes or
way.
no?
It's a way to help to alleviate for those who are into the gym, to help with their mental health and like just getting outside the home. So I'm not talking about Disneyland or Universal Studios or Speedway.
Oh yeah, no, we're
Yeah.
talking.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
No,
So
bro.
Alif said yes. Alif does agree that is a way.
Okay.
Speaks.
Do you
Anything
need
for
a,
the games, of course.
do you need
But,
do you need a gym to work out?
I mean,
Yes or no question.
I'd say depends on what your goals are. Like, if you want to go if weightlifting is your thing, then yeah. Not everyone has an at-home gym. Yeah.
Okay, so
That's fair.
but you
If
can't.
you
but,
want true gains, you need the gym, is what Alif is saying. You cannot make gains doing
where else
at-home
am I-
plyometrics.
Where else am I supposed to do squats?
Okay, so Speaks, what is your point here? So let's
my point being is that you can do at-home workouts. You can go to parks. Parks were not a part of being able to, or were not. I don't believe parks were shut down.
I think
You go.
They
You
were.
can work out.
They were.
You can work. Okay, well you can't. Sorry, my bad. Then you can work
My
out
point
from
is to
home.
get out of the house.
Go on a run.
I will say, to counteract that, especially during like phase one, is the point is very much that you have to like not go out to prevent the spread. Obviously, people didn't follow that, and hence the spread still happens. But it's a sort of thing where you're gonna have to like pick your battles, you're gonna pick your poison. Is it that you want a pandemic that's gonna happen for maybe a good 2 months if you get it handled under control, or a pandemic that's gonna happen that's gonna last for an entire year?
Like it has been.
Like it has been, and if the only downside is that only for a month that I'm gonna feel a little cooped up. It's kind of just like, well, what are our priorities at the moment? Yes, this sucks, but if we just do this right the first time, then obviously we're not going to have to deal with this later on. But obviously, that's not what happened.
Exactly.
So yes,
Yeah.
there is a point
And
where
you can
it
never
is
count.
unfortunate that you're going to get like a little stir crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of sucks, but that's just what has to happen in order to get this under control.
But a lot
Well,
has happened,
here's my
though. A lot
question-
has
here's my
happened. Really quick, because a lot has happened that we have to take into account with COVID. One, you had the anti-mask protests. Like, remember Orange County, Huntington Beach, like all of those people without masks just talking to one another. You had the George Floyd protests too, where you also saw a lot of those people not wearing masks. I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm just talking about just COVID related.
Yeah.
You know what happened. We also had the early reopenings in states like Arizona that also caused like an uptick. Georgia was another one. Texas, Florida, another one that also caused an uptick in, you know, just the U.S. cases. Beginning to kind of trend downward and kind of flatten the curve, as a lot of people were saying. So I just kind of want all of us to remember that, like, a lot of things did happen with COVID.
Yes.
But Alif, you had a question or statement?
I guess my question is, like, how long do we expect? Like, I'm not like advocating for like you know, going out in public and all that stuff, you know, but then at the same time, and like, let's be reasonable here. How long do we expect small businesses, like small business owners, right? Not corporations, small businesses, to stay closed?
I will say a large part of why also people are really upset is because there is no like guidance from the top. And part of that is setting expectations. If we were to say that, like, okay, we gotta shut this down for 2 months, you know, and for the next 60 days, gotta bunker down and buy what you need, buy what you gotta do. But for the next 2 months, you gotta stay indoors to plan accordingly. You know, obviously there are some businesses there are some businesses that probably is going to take a hit, but at the very least, they were able to like restructure, reorganize, do what they can in that time in order to survive. But like that's not what happened. It's just that like some people are just like, oh, we're just gonna stay closed until we figure it out. And sometimes it was like more than 2 months, and like some people just kind of like waited until things got better. And then in the meantime, sometimes they're if they're like a small business owner, they still have to pay other was a mortgage or whatever, the property, pay for it while like they weren't getting any money. So didn't really have any like guidance or any way to like make proper decisions. So but I feel like if everyone got like it's going to be done in 2 months, even like from the top down, the whole system could like better set itself up for just that like 2 months lockdown.
And do you guys think that?
Well, that didn't happen. So,
but do you guys think that didn't happen due to like no federal response? Like there wasn't anything that came from the president, from our government to say this is our federally mandated response. We federally require everybody to wear masks. This is what we're going to do to flatten the curve and to lower it. Do you think that was a contributing factor, or the number one factor as to why we're still in COVID?
100%.
Well, I think the number one factor is that everyone has too many different opinions.
But that's why there needs to be a federal response.
Exactly. So if we had like one rule that everyone has to follow, then why have alternative opinions?
Yeah. Okay. I kind of want to play a game with you guys really quick, kind of like rapid fire, and if we disagree on any, then we'll kind of discuss it. All right. Are y'all ready for this?
Go for it.
Okay. Essential businesses or not? Restaurants, are they essential or are they not?
No.
Nope. Alif?
For takeout, yeah.
Quick, yes or no? And remember, we're talking about having people inside the restaurant, not takeout.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we're all in agreement there. No. Stadiums for sporting events, like the NFL just reopened at a lower capacity. Essential? Yes or no?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to agree/disagree with you there and say no. I mean, I think it's good that they're doing that and that they're having people be able to go into the stadium, because those stadiums aren't paying those employees any money for the work that they're not doing. Like, I think even Staples Center, they've only paid for like, I think the 6 months of wages that they would have missed, like if the Lakers or the Clippers would have went to the finals, and I think that was paid for. But after that, like, those employees don't get paid. So what do you guys tell to like those employees? Like tough luck, or how should we look at that situation?
And that's my question right there. Like, how long do you expect these businesses to stay closed? Because people like that are not getting paid.
Not necessarily the business, because Staples Center will continue to survive. Like they will be okay. Yeah. The Lakers will be fine. The Clippers will be fine. But Speaks and
employees
Chiz,
won't be.
Do you have, or like what do you think happens to those employees? Like, does it just suck to suck in that case? Should they find?
Well, we did have this thing.
Should we give another like $1,200 to them? Like,
well, there was this thing that was, happening, unemployment. There was a program in place to help people that weren't working at that time. They were getting paid maybe a little bit more than what they needed, but that's also dependent on cost of living. To people in California, what we were making was relatively like helping, but to other people that was getting that, it wasn't necessary. It was extreme. However, you don't have time to consider cost of living, and we already know that. So there's already situations in place where people were going, like if you were to miss time from work, you were still making enough money to support you and your family. So you don't tell those people tough luck. There was already a program in place.
No, facts.
Okay. So Speaks, you agree with Chibs, you agree with Speaks on that one?
Yeah, well, I mean, if the argument is just like what exactly is essential, just that.
Yeah.
We're not talking about who's getting paid. It's just talking about what jobs are necessary for people to survive. Not the economy, for people to stay alive, and stay healthy. The Staples Center is not one of them. It is unfortunate.
So the employees
truly is.
So the employees,
people aren't getting paid. Okay. But I mean, if we only had to choose the businesses to stay open that just needed for us to stay safe and healthy, no, that's not one of them. And there should have been a better response. And of course, the unemployment was a great response to handle that. But it's not an essential business, and that should be like stayed open under that criteria.
Yeah. So do you think that, because we did get the stimulus checks for that $1,200. So do you think that people should have been provided with more stimulus checks? Because as y'all know, the employment and the disability wasn't really for everybody. There are people to this day who have not gotten any unemployment and disability. So then that's why COVID is so tricky, because yes, on one end, I agree with you, Chib. Those industries that serve the people to keep the people safe should be open and protect those people. But we also have, non-essential businesses where these people are struggling, not making their money, and also not receiving any sort of unemployment. And they may have even gotten that $1,200, but it wasn't able to sustain them like on what we're almost going on a year. So
a year.
Well, we're going into October.
That's
saying like when we first heard about
that is Wait, so I think it started
March, February, June, July, August, September.
It started. It didn't start in February.
March.
We had first heard about it, but shutdown was in March, right, Chibs?
I think so. April.
We're going on our 8th month.
April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So we're going on 7.
Okay. Yeah. So we just passed the half year mark.
Yeah, we just passed it.
So do you think that in terms of our in terms of those $1,200 checks, how many should we have received, or should we still be receiving them?
Well, here's the thing. I think it should have been one or the other. If there wasn't a boost in unemployment like there was, then stimulus checks probably should have came in roughly every month or so. And you still probably would have gotten around that, like more or less, give or take. If there's an unemployment boost like there was, then there's no need for stimulus checks because
sorry, I'll let you finish.
There's no need for stimulus checks because I think that for the most part, like some people were making less, some people were making more. I think it kind of just depended on needs and things of that nature. So if you're in a 2-person household and both of you are unemployed, you were making about roughly there was checks going in for like $1,600-1,700 per person. So, and that didn't include if you were having kids or anything like that. So I think that's you can survive off of that. You can make the necessary adjustments to survive off of that between two people household.
Okay, Chips.
Also, I think a lot of people forget the difference between like unemployment and the stimulus check. So like the unemployment is supposed to be like the monthly thing that's supposed to like keep you going throughout like the entire time we not have a job. But the stimulus check was mainly for the economy.
Yeah,
it was mainly to like
stimulate the economy.
Yeah, exactly. Help make sure we don't like go into recession. And an interesting thing I learned is that the stimulus checks actually did work, but only for like low to like middle low like in like class people, like the upper class people, like the upper middle and like high class people. It didn't really do anything just because it was the way that they spent their money. Like because like rich people, they don't go to like Giant to like or Bonds and spend their money. You know, they want to go to like yachts. So that $1,200 wasn't, they weren't spending it, they're just gonna like tuck it away because like it's like chump change to them. But for like lower class people, that's like they're actually like using that money and pumping it back in. They're like buying groceries, they're buying like clothes, they're buying like stuff that they actually buy on the regular.
I think there's an eligibility criteria for getting a stimulus check, right? Like you can't be making more than like 90,000 a year or some shit like that.
Well, it was just saying that people on the upper end of the eligibility weren't spending it as much as people on the lower end.
That's an interesting take on it. And I actually didn't know that. So you learn something new every day. And Speaks had said something earlier that I thought was really good. And I'd wondered about this because I'd heard stories and I'd read online about some companies who were kind of, I wouldn't say on their last legs, but still kind of trying to keep their heads above water during COVID. And one strategy that they would use with their employees was they would have to still work a minimum of 3 days a week. So they were still able to declare like full time, like they weren't able to collect any unemployment, but they're making less money than they were because they were switched from like salary to hourly, right? So you're only working the hours that you work. So in that case, how do we support those people, you know, who are used to working a full-time job? Now they're only maybe working part-time, but they also can't collect unemployment. And they're not getting those checks. I feel like that's kind of a shitty situation to be in, you know, but there's nuance to it, you know, like everyone kind of has a different situation. It sucks, but I don't know if there's like an answer, but we'd love to hear you guys' input.
So you're saying, well, basically their wages were cut. So wasn't there,
I guess to me, I feel the solution to that is like back pay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of just like, yeah, we're in a position and we can't pay you as much, but once things bounce back, we'll just pay you back that money later on. You know, it's not like it went away. Just get it later. It's like
another solution.
It's like a reverse advance.
Okay. Or another solution would be to suspend people's payments on their essential bills and stuff like that. Like have a little bit of a freeze, like what was done in other countries.
So rent freeze, mortgage freeze, credit card debt freeze.
So that way people, even if you're not necessarily working, there are certain expenses that you don't necessarily have to worry about right now. You know?
Yeah.
So that way you're not as under, like, you're not having to choose between, oh, well, I'm essential work and I have to go work right now, you know, or do I have to worry about my health, you know? So a mortgage freeze or something along those lines would also be a way to combat the people that are working less, still working, but working less. Therefore, they don't have to worry about the bills or whatever.
Yeah. Alif, did you want to add anything?
I think that I'm kind of like agree with everyone's points here. I kind of think I kind of think, like, for example, because Speaks mentioned that in some cases people who are getting paid unemployment are getting paid a bit too much or more than they were making at the regular jobs, right? I just feel like maybe unemployment should have been based on how much you make, not just like one level of income every month, not like $600 every week, like just to supplement what you're missing out.
So, they thought about that, but they basically just say it would be too complicated.
Yeah, it would be.
They said that the systems
that sounds too lazy to me.
Yeah.
People want that money and they want it now.
Yeah, it's my money and I need it now.
They got the IRS. Literally, I saw $1,200 in my bank account just because the IRS put it there. Like the IRS knows how much you and I make.
Hey, the IRS needs to drop another 1,200 though. That's all I'm gonna say. So what is one industry, before we like kind of start wrapping things up? What is one industry that you guys may walk by or drive by and you just think to yourself, like, why are you risking this? Like it could be
movie theaters right now.
People going into movies.
Yep.
Sheesh. I feel like that's a big risk because you're inside like this insulated room.
Yep.
And like it's recycling the same air, isn't it?
I'm not sure necessarily about recycling the same air. However, I think that they say that they're taking the necessary precautions, but I've talked to people that are in management and getting like a full glimpse as to what's going on. They're saying that it is impossible for them to abide by all guidelines and make sure that everything is completely 100% safe.
Are movie theaters in California
inside
open?
scoop?
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like the movie theater is essentially kind of like the same as like an airplane, and I know lots of people have been flying. Not to say that neither of them are safe.
Okay, go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Not to say that either of them are safe, but I do know that like travel on planes is not getting near as much scrutiny as going to the movies.
I think
are airlines important?
Airlines are 100% important. They are unfortunately more essential, I think, than a movie theater.
I would say so.
Because you have a lot more. There's a lot more people that has to do more with people working businesses and certain products that have to be
visiting the homies.
That's very essential. Very, very essential.
Very essential. Homie.
Come and see the boys.
Yeah. So I think that
products and goods are.
What was that?
Huh? No, I was going to say products and goods are shipped through freight airliners, not commercial airliners.
Yeah. But we're talking about people right now.
Yeah, I was just saying just other. Yeah, I didn't know that, but okay, cool. People just
also. But I was thinking also, just kind of like where we're at now. Do you think we're ready to just open up all businesses?
No.
At this point, like, and this to say like we're gonna make rules, make it safe. But do you think like now's the time to just like open businesses up?
No, 100%. And the reason why, if the people that have issues with why are we not opening things back up, those are the same people that regret that are not wearing masks. They're gathering in groups. They're not wearing masks within those groups. They're in a hurry to get out because, oh my God, it's just COVID. Nobody's going to die from it. Tell that to the 200,000 people that have already died from it. There's no vaccine for this. There's no reason other than your selfishness as to why you want to go out, other than it's something that you want to do.
I think I agree
this man his PhD.
I agree. Yeah.
To give this man his PhD.
I agree with Speaks. Sorry, Leaf. Sorry. I just want to say this. I think in terms of COVID in the US, I feel like we should have like the Kobe Mamba mentality response, whereas like jobs not finished. We shouldn't be going in and reopening all of these things until we're like 100% in the clear and we have that number, that golden number that we hit. Because job isn't finished. With COVID, it's not done. Nope. And I think that the risks that we've been taking is we reopen. And sometimes it's easy to think that COVID is over just because we've been in it for 6-7 months already. You know, I catch myself at times getting out of the car and walking somewhere and being like, I don't have a mask. Like I need to run inside and like grab it. And it's almost mental fatigue, you know, that we're just like kind of in this thing. And we don't know when it's going to end. So I think now is the time where you just like double down. Like those of you who had played sports, when you're doing a plank, it's like those last 15 seconds where your abs are on fire that you really need to like lock in mentally and find a way past it. Because if we just say, you know what, we're just going to reopen and have all these precautions, like we're kind of falling asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, because you're expecting, and also the precautions that you're taking in place is not really like, I don't necessarily deem those being an appropriate response really, because like you can have a plexiglass up and that's really cool, but what you're not taking into account is the workers that you have in there are
they're at risk.
Yeah, they're at risk. And then also, if you're having more people, like people aren't social distancing when they go to a grocery store. People aren't social distancing when they go to a movie theater. People aren't social distancing at these restaurants. So apparently eating outside is just like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense. But then when you look over and everything, like there's no 6 feet. There's no any of that.
I know. Itself had made a point today. She was like, how many people do you think that like ever willingly sat outside before? Like, do you think that people are just doing it rebelliously because we can now, and that's like the only normalcy we have?
Yeah.
Or it's kind of an odd thing. But Alif, I know you wanted to add one thing earlier, and we kind of like went off. But
I guess what I wanted to say was at this point in time, at this point in this pandemic, 7 months.
Mm-hmm.
My question is like, how much more longer? Like, I understand like this pandemic is real and it's not something to take lightly, but like I also believe in balance as well. You know, so what is the balance? Is my question. Taking that into consideration, what is the balance, and how long do we expect? How long do we expect like businesses, like small businesses, like family-owned businesses, to stay closed if that is their primary source of income? Yeah, you got things like
I would say just to answer that initial question.
Yeah.
From what I've been hearing from just like experts and professionals, they've been saying like up until next year, beginning of next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like
so
January, February of next year.
My question is like, how do you expect them to survive until then?
A lot of them won't.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe if they were so willing to bail out small businesses, like they're willing to bail out big corporations and put that on, a priority list.
Yeah.
I think that would be.
But then big corporations. But big corporations employ way more people.
Well, here's the thing is,
but you're not jumping to, your thing is like, well, of course they're going to bail out the big corporations because X, Y, and Z. It's like, well, why not just bail out the small businesses too?
It's a different dynamic. I don't think that question could be answered like in a matter of like a minute or two.
Yeah.
But I do understand the sentiment from you speaks, and I do understand the sentiment from Alif, because a lot of these family-owned businesses are gonna start to go under or already have gone under and started to shut down due to COVID. Unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Mm-hmm. It's America, it's life. These types of things happen. We hope that we could limit these types of things happen with like small business loans, small business grants, things of that nature. But it's just unfortunate that these things have happened the way that they have. Mm-hmm. Just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. But
so Rod's like answer is kind of like, it sounds like what you're saying is just to accept it.
It happens because whether we like this is, I look at it the way other countries have looked at it. We could have been proactive. We could have had a federal response. We didn't. Because we didn't, the result of that is businesses failing, small businesses being the highest at risk. And that's just the way it goes.
And also that's the reason why when you ask how much longer, well,
as long as we want to make it.
Yeah, but as if we would have done what we were supposed to in the beginning, taken it seriously, had a plan in place, and took it as serious as other countries. There's other countries that are starting to open up. There was a country that I don't know which one it was, but they had a full-on
Wuhan was having pool parties, bro.
Yeah, like they had a full-on concert and like no issues because countries took the necessary precautions and took it seriously. We have people that are all we're asking is to wear masks.
It's the 5G, bro.
And they're just like, no, we don't want to wear masks. I can't breathe. And like, there's a whole other issue with that. Yeah. But
it's the 5G.
Quarantine is slavery.
Yeah.
It's the 5G. It's the birds, bro. It's the chemtrails.
Yeah.
It's the chemtrails in the air.
Yeah. So the moment that people all realize that, hey, let's take this seriously and not prioritize money over lives, is when we would have already been done by it. We would have already been done.
And the U.S. has the money.
Yes.
Just always remember that.
Yeah, that we
have the money to do it, and we just chose not to.
Yeah.
Trump 2020. Anyway, guys, last thoughts.
Trump 2020. Oh, that's not my last thought. That is not my last thought. My last thought is support your local businesses, support local restaurants around your neighborhood. Try and support small Black businesses. Shop small when you can. That's all I can say, and I think that's going to be the response.
Support local businesses. So you just said like it's good.
Huh?
I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
Quick.
Oh, okay. All right. How do we support local businesses if they're going to go under?
Well, you can by supporting them now. If they're that's not like I see what you're trying to say, but by supporting them now, because if you don't support small businesses, they're gonna go under. And if you support not, what do you mean? There are a bunch of small businesses open. The dry cleaner down my street that's owned by a family is open right now. I take my dry cleaning there.
So I don't.
Like
I'm not in California. I thought everything in California was closed. So I don't know.
There are small businesses that are open right now
that you can shop at.
Okay.
Speaks.
Okay. Speaks. Alif Chibs. Final before we wrap up.
Wear your mask. Do your part. Do your work, and everything will be. Everything will go the way that it's supposed to. I want to meet up with my homies. I want to turn up. I want to go to the bar. I want to, be social, because it sucks. This is really taking its toll, but unfortunately people haven't done what they're supposed to do. And if they would have done that, we would already be done with this.
Job's not finished. Chibs.
Oh, well said. That's Dodo speaks. Yeah.
All right, cool. So once again, thank you guys for. Oh wait, yeah, I thought Alif went. My bad, bro.
No, it's cool. Yeah, fuck me, dude.
I agree.
Well, you said it for me. Confirmed. You said it, not me.
No, just I kind of said everything I had to say. Just ask my questions. You guys kind of answered them, so not much.
All right, cool. Thank you guys for listening to another week of the Millennial Minute. It is truly, truly appreciated. We love your support. Follow us on Instagram at Millennial Min Podcast. You can shoot us emails, hit up our Patreon, support us. We need all the support. Small businesses, listen to Black podcasters and Bengali podcasters. Shout out to Alif. And we will be back with another episode next week. Peace out, guys.
Peace out.